Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday today, and I'm here with a sketch challenge. I love doing sketch challenges. And so today I'm going to do one. I like the sketch. It's, you can do all sorts of different things with the sketch, and I'm going to do something different with this sketch. I am going to be in a blog hop this week, and the theme is reduce, reuse, recycle. So I looked around my craft room to see what it was that I could use that maybe is a little bit different. And I haven't done this before. So, and I got the idea. So I've never done it before, but Sharon Burkhart, who is part of the Creativity Abounds team, the design team that I'm on, is doing the stamp camp this weekend. A couple of stamp camps ago used corrugated cardboard on her card, and I thought, I have some Stampin' Up! Boxes, and what a perfect way to use some of those before they go into the recycle bin. So I'm going to show you maybe a little bit different, something different to do if you're ever, need a different idea for a material for your card. All right, let me switch over and I'll show you the sketch, and then we'll start making the card. Now, this sketch will go live on Instagram and Facebook in about a half hour's time. So if you miss any of the measurements, or you're watching on the replay, or you want to grab the image, it does go live in about a half hour's time. So your card base, as always, is either 5.5 by 8.5 or 4.25 by 11. And then the main piece, the first layer, is 4 inches by 5.25. This green layer is 2 inches by 4.5. And then I've used a 2 3/8 inch circle. It doesn't have to be a circle. It could be a die. It could be any shape that goes there. And then your sentiment, I've said 1/2 inch by 2 inches, and it really depends on what you're using for a sentiment. And just make it bigger or smaller, depending on what you need. Okay, so that's the sketch. Now, let me show you what I'm going to use today. I played with this the other day. This is the Notes of Nature suite, and this is what we're using for the upcoming stamp camp. So I do still have one kit left over. If you are interested in this, you don't have to be live with us on the weekend. You get access to the Facebook group with the bonus projects, and you get the YouTube videos for the 13 make and takes. So if you're interested in that, it's such a fun time. And the projects are amazing. You end up with 26 projects out of we're using actually the Notes of Nature bundle, the designer series paper, the cork rounds, and then the leather trim. So it's really fun. So if you're interested, I have one kit left. So that's what I'm using today. So let me show you what I thought I would do. So I looked around, and I have some Stampin' Up! Boxes from some orders. And so what I did, if I bring it over, I just cut a piece off one of the flaps, and then I peeled the one piece of backing off. So it's kind of looks like this on both sides. And so I gently peeled one piece of backing off, which is what this is. And then I cut it. And that's what I was going to use with this backing on. And then it felt really thick and heavy. So I gently peeled the other piece of backing off, and I ended up with this kind of springy piece of corrugated paper. So that's what my piece is. I cut it to 2 inches by, what did I say? 2 inches by 4.5, but it has stretched, and I think I'm going to stretch it a little bit when I put it on to my card base. Just adds a little bit of texture. So I've layered it. My first piece this is one of the pieces of designer series paper, gold on one side, and then this beautiful pattern on the other side. I don't know which way this goes. Maybe like that. It might be a coffee bean. I'm not positive. And then I've got pecan pie. So this piece is 4.25 by 11, and we're going to score it at 5.5. So there's all sorts of things probably in your craft room that you could use for this kind of theme if you had a challenge to, do reuse, recycle, reuse, reduce, recycle. I had thought of also the bubble wrap that comes in Stampin' Up! Boxes to make some backgrounds. And then I saw the corrugated, so I changed my mind. But that's another option. So that piece is going to go on like that. This is great paper. You could actually do some coloring on this if you wanted to. And then I'm going to put my piece. Again, it's stretched, and I'm just going to kind of let it stretch. I'm going to use, and you can decide which side you like. I kind of like this one because it's a little bit more stressed because of the way I kind of tore it off. So I'm just going to use some tear and tape just because I think this needs to be held on because it is going to stretch a little bit. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape. Pull it just a little bit so the tear and tape doesn't show, and then use my take your pick tool to kind of, it's going to be a little bit hard to get the backing off because I need to get underneath this backing. The corrugated pieces there. Did I do it? I did. Okay, so there's one. So one of the tips with the tear and tape is don't peel it all the way off, just kind of peel it halfway and then fold it. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. If I can get my pieces off. There we go. So take it halfway up, fold it out, and that way you can kind of just position it. It's not quite so sticky as tear and tape can be. And so now once you're kind of ready to get it into position, oops. So it's not sticking exactly, but that's okay. There we go. Kind of cool, I think. Hey, Felicia. Is it an almond plant? Thank you. I guess I don't know my tropical plants. I wondered if it was coffee. But actually, I can't read what it says. It says Prunus dulcis. Don't know what that means for. This is vanilla, and this is a cacao. But yeah, maybe that does mean almond. Anyway, it's very pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to take and glue this piece. It's a shame to cover up that beautiful gold, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, going, oopsie, just about put it on there backwards. Guess it wouldn't have really mattered, but oop. I got sticky fingers. That's what I've got going on. There we go. Get it straight. Like that. Okay. All right. Now, hey, I'm not sure who that is, but hello. Don't forget to give StreamYard permission. So I had, when I started to peel off the layers, the 2 outside layers from my corrugated, I had a piece, and so I've gone ahead and punched it out. So I'm going to use that for the circle. I punched it out using the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. But before we do, let's do some stamping. So I've got pecan pie, and I think I'm going to use this stamp. It's kind of about the right size. These images are at 90%, so the actual image is bigger than it appears. So we're going to use this one because it's kind of about the right size. And then we need a sentiment. So I think I'm going to use the one that says just a little note to say hello. It'll need to be a little bit wider than 1/2 inch, but we can do that. All right, so there's my stamps. And we'll just stamp that on like that. I just love it. Pecan pie is such a pretty color. Oops, I'm going to need that, but we'll do that. Okay, and then we need the die, which is this one. So I played with this this tab die the other day. It's really cool. So the combination of the two, it's a mega. This is a mega suite, so you get 2 bundles in it. The Stamp Camp, we are only using the Notes of Nature bundle, the Designer Series paper, the cork rounds, and the leather trim. All right, so while I have this, I'm just going to stamp my sentiment on the corner. Okay, I'm going to cut this out. My machine is just over here. All right. Let's put that there so I don't lose it. Okay, we'll cut that out. These are kind of cool. I love these little where it says what it is. And so I think what I'm going to do, it is such a nice color. Yes, it was a great replacement for soft suede. I agree with you. All right, I'm going to cut that little thing out where it says the figure because I probably will use that in my card. But what I want to do is take some Wink of Stella. And while I've said this before, I find the Wink of Stella kind of, even after it's, this has been stamped for a few minutes, minute or two anyway. And I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can. So I'm even getting, some movement of color, some kind of blending of color from the Wink of Stella. And I think it must be the solvent that's in the Wink of Stella, but I don't know if you can see how shiny that is. It's just so pretty. So I'm just going to do those, and I won't do all of the leaves as well. And then we'll use some dimensionals to pop this up onto my cardboard circle, or it's kind of like craft paper at this point in time. So it's got a few of the lines, definitely a bit distressed. Okay, and then I'm going to take and cut my little figure, the little writing that says what this is. And I'll use a mini dimensional on this. Just there. All right. Now I'm going to use glue on this one side, and then I'm going to have to use dimensionals on the right side of this. So if I kind of have it going like this, then I can figure out where my dimensionals go. And I'm hoping I don't have to use double layer of dimensionals. I'm hoping one layer is going to be okay. Just depends on how thick, whether the thickness of my corrugated part compared to my dimensionals. And it is a little bit, but that's okay. I think let's try a double layer of dimensionals. I don't want it to be too high, but I think I might need another layer underneath. So just peel the backing off, and then you can stick two dimensionals, one on top of each other, like that. I might need a little bit more. Oh, maybe all right. Maybe all right. Okay, so let's get that going straightish. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right. Now I need my sentiment. So I could have just cut a rectangle out using my trimmer, but I'm just going to take, since I often don't decide what the shape of my sentiment piece is until I'm partway through the card. You know me, you typically just use paper snips to cut my. All right. Now, I had said it was going to go like that, and maybe it still will. I'll move it up a little bit. I think it's okay. And I think I'm just going to use glue. I'm not going to use dimensional. Hopefully it will stick to, make sure it's on one of the ridges of my corrugated, like that. Okay. All right, this is not, it's wanting to stick up a little bit, but that's okay. All right. Yeah, you're right. Foam strip probably would have been exactly the right height. Or the dimensionals from the paper pumpkin kit are higher than the dimensionals, the regular dimensionals. And so they might have worked as well. All right, I did some cutting out in advance, some of my, just some little stems. So from the, these are from the Notes of Nature. So I did 2 pecan pie and then 2 in the designer series paper. And I thought I would just pop those underneath of my corrugated. So I'm going to just unroll this and stick them on. Get that bit out of there. You know what's kind of funny is I'm making this card thinking, gosh, we have so many beautiful things from Stampin' Up! And here I am using corrugated cardboard. But anyway, it was a challenge and I had to think of something. So you never know what you might come up with in different ways to use. Use stuff that's just going to go into the recycle bin. Okay, so I'm just going to take and just put these, just tuck them underneath a little bit, just with a glue dot. Probably should have put that one up there. I like to balance it, and now I haven't got it very balanced. Let's see if I can get that. All right. Maybe under here. There we go. And there it is there. Just a little bit of, yeah, definitely mixed media. All right, I don't know that I'm going to use, I do have this is the leather trim. It's 1/8 inch. It's got a little bit of gold shimmer to it. I definitely am going to use these cork rounds. I absolutely love them. So we'll just add cork rounds. Maybe up there, because I have a feeling that'll stick very well if I put it onto the corrugated. Okay, so and then I've got a piece of basic white, and what I did was I just took a piece of the top part that I peeled off, but I am going to stamp on this one a little bit because it's looking a little bit boring. Let's say that. So I've got this little stamp that looks like kind of little tiny grid. So I'm just going to take, so I don't put all of this. I'm just going to take and stamp and just add a little bit of detail to this. Could have done that underneath my circle too, but I didn't. Okay, so now I can take, now this has got tape on it, so I think what I'm going to do is use Terran tape. Hopefully that'll stick. Just don't know if the glue will stick. There we go. All right, let's close that up before I get my fingers in it. And we'll put this on the bottom. So again, this was 3/4 inch by 4. Sorry, 3/4 inch, but yeah, by 4. That's typically what I use if I'm using a piece of designer series paper on the bottom or something like that. It's 3/4 inch wide. You could use wider, but often that's the size that I have left over when I'm cutting, like a 6x6 paper. There's often 3/4 inch, and I just save those little bits. All right, there's the inside of my card, and there is. I'm kind of happy with how this turned out. I wasn't so sure it was going to work out, and I wasn't so sure I had an idea what colors to use, but I'm kind of liking it. So there we go. An idea for you to maybe use some of those Stampin' Up! Boxes before they go into the recycle bin. I am not going to say this, so you guys all are my witnesses. I'm not going to cut boxes and save because I get enough of them. I always have a box that I can use. So I know I have a habit of getting good ideas and then, start hoarding it and don't use it again. So anyway, so if you try something, think of something in your craft room that you can reduce, reuse, recycle, and make a project using it. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Now, tomorrow I'll be live at 2 Pacific with a technique for you. Now, I did a watercolor, kind of a watercolor wash on a card on Saturday, I think. And I mentioned that maybe I would do some abstract watercoloring, which is one of my very favorite watercolor techniques. So I think I'll do that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Come join me. If you haven't played with watercolor or Fluid 100 paper, come check it out because it's a really fun way. It makes me feel like an artist, and I don't ever think that I'm an artist. So it's kind of fun to do. All right, and then I'll be live on Thursday with a mystery challenge for you. So probably will be a tic-tac-toe, but I haven't got it created yet. So, all right, everybody, hope you have a great day. If you are interested in my very last kit, you live in Canada, message me because I need to get it off to you as quick as I can so you don't miss out by too much. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye.